morning, everyone. Welcome back to Stock Market Video, and I am back. I just wasn't feeling well earlier this week, and let's take a look at QQQ as well as the market and overall the mega cap tech sevens. So that'll be Tesla, Meta, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia. So we'll be looking at their supporters and levels as well as what's the most likely scenario we're probably be heading into later next week. And the 7 mega cap will give us more clues because they will move QQQ, and QQQ will also move SPY as well. And so let's take a look. So QQQ, we're on the hourly time frame, and right now we just have this rising wedge going on. You can see resistance, 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 resistance. So rising wedge looks like this, and we have support down here. Although we only have 2 touches, but there's like 4 touches on NQ, which is a futures chart, which is NASDAQ 100. And rising wedge is a bearish pattern, so it just keeps on going higher high, making a new high, and then lacking follow through. It makes a new high and lacks follow through. You can see every time we make a new high here, it's just barely higher than the prior high, and then we lack follow through. Same thing over here, right? This high wasn't that much higher than this high. Lack follow through. Same thing over here. We bounced and then only pulled back a little bit. But so bears want to break this rising wedge, bearish, obviously. And let's take a look at the measure to see if it's still okay. It's not a bear flag anymore. I can see it already, but let's take a look. So from top of the move to the bottom of the move, we're already over 50%. So we have to be underneath the 0.382 for it to be a bear flag. So now it's not a bear flag anymore. So now the question is, because bulls have bounced over 50% now, and they have enough room, right? When we do pull back, can they form another higher low here? We had a tiny one here, right? On Wednesday, we did make a lower low, but by like what? 434.37 and 434.56. That's like 20 cents. Don't really count that as a higher low or pivot, right? Some people could call it, this is just one move up. Some people might call this, a lower low, and there's a pivot there. So not lower low, higher low, and there's a tiny pivot there. It's only by 20 cents, or some people just call it double bottom. It's up to you. But on the next pullback, I want to see a clear pivot where bulls actually hold it, and then we form daily uptrends, so we can see if the bulls can do that or not. They did their first job, which is bounce big enough, 50% of the move. So they achieved that, and we'll see if they can do that. Part 2 of maybe confirming a potential bottom here if we do pull back, and form that daily uptrend. Right, rising wedge is a bearish pattern, especially on a downtrend. If this was a uptrend and we're just forming a rising wedge, I would be like, we're probably gonna break bull out of this rising wedge. But now we're in a daily downtrend, so we'll have to see if bulls can show up. So it's burden on the bulls, right? Right now, bears have that downtrend. So we want bulls to prove to us that this move is real. And if we go to the weekly chart, you can see that weekly has not confirmed daily downtrends yet, right? This is a weekly one move, right? So bears have not confirmed weekly downtrends yet, and this is an incredible move. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of dropping, and bulls bought up this week, but on this next bounce, right? We're still in a weekly bear flag. Let's see. Pretty close. Yeah, we're still in a weekly bear flag. So on this next bounce, right, bulls want to bounce a little bit higher next week, or bears should try not to get that weekly bear flag in. So because bears need a lower high, right, to confirm that downtrend for weekly downtrends, which they haven't yet. So this is just one big move. And on the next time, if bears actually confirm weekly downtrends, that means they set a lower high and a lower low. That's a big shift in the market, a very, very big shift. And it may play out, right? It can look like that. Big head and shoulders on the weekly, which we don't know yet. So we'll keep on watching. If we start bouncing up here and then we start confirming daily downtrends in this area, that's a good chance that we may actually start to come back and test this low. But we'll take it one day at a time because we don't know where they're going to come from that trend. But we'll have to keep an eye out if the market does shift. But if we start confirming daily uptrends, just starting grinding back up over and over and forming that higher low and higher high, higher low, higher high, then there's nothing to really worry about. It's going to end up being a big equilibrium where it shapes up something like this. Big move down, big move up, and might tighten up. Be something like that into potentially rate cuts and elections, right? We have rate cuts in September, priced in pretty much 100%. I think we're getting 0.5 at this moment. I think it's a 60% rate cut, probably of getting a 0.5 of a cut. But that may shift over the months because it's still a month and a half away. But but we're 100% getting a 0.25% cut for sure. So, and market, we have elections as well. So market might just be, tightening up into end of or mid September. So we'll see about that as well. So those are two scenarios that can happen: either tightening range or bears actually confirm weekly downtrend, which would really shift the market to a bearish environment and form that head and shoulders big move. And breaking that, they need to break this neckline for it to confirm. That's a lot of work for bears as well. But currently, currently bears need to prove to us on the weekly time frame, but bulls need to prove to us on the daily time frame for us to head back higher to see if we can potentially grind that daily uptrend back to bulls. There's still a lot of resistance above us. You can see this whole structure, we're not even over it. We literally just gap down Monday and then just slowly grind back up. And we haven't really tested any structure or any real resistance above us, right? Other than this little Friday move here. That's it. So we need to really get over this guy here, or otherwise there's really no change in this chart from the bulls. They didn't really do much. It's just a big gap down and they try to bounce. That's it. Right? The structure is also this structure. And so that we need both to prove this, bounce here enough and come back and test that. The last thing you want to see is come up to this, finally test this area, and then we roll over it and we get a daily downtrend. Then that's potential weekly higher, lower high being shaped up, where that weekly downtrend may start shaping up for the bears. So keep an eye on watch on that. So next 2 weeks is actually very crucial. We're in a different environment versus it's just pure grind up, right? But maybe we may get that. If we start getting that daily uptrends, we may start forming a grind up. All right, we'll start looking at the 7 mega cap techs to see if they're giving us more clues. Are they forming some kind of bottom, or they give us some kind of support where they help the market bounce? And if you guys want to learn more or support the channel, go to the Patreon link and support the channel. It's all free. Come to join the Discord link as well. Discord is free. Come chat, hang out, talk about stocks, and let's keep going. So Tesla here, pretty much just a back test of this structure where we broke out from, right? This is the 4-hour chart. You can see once we back tested that on Monday, pretty much everybody marked their lows on Monday after that big gap down. Nice 4-hour higher low being set right there, right? Higher low right here, but Tesla is not making a higher high. So it needs to break above Monday's high for us to really say this is a confirmed 4-hour uptrend for more upside. And every day can do that. I'm looking at 209 or 210, pretty much this resistance right here, which is this prior resistance, downturn resistance right there. Rejection, 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 rejection. And we'll probably get another rejection here as well, which also coincides with prior support, and broke support. Maybe it will be resistant there now because we're under it. So a lot of work for Tesla. Yeah, this is still a bear flag. You can see QQQ bounced 50%. This bounced just underneath 3.32. So this is still a daily bear flag. That's why I said you need to break that Monday's high for any convincing move upwards. Otherwise, this is still a weak bounce from Tesla. I think not much volume here either. So if we get a bounce, we want to break through that, come back above to 210. And for the bears, confirm this bear flag, break all these pivot lows, right? For the last 4 days, flush to Monday's low and see if we can break that. It'll be a confirmed bear flag. And if you guys can do that, then we're probably looking down at this structure, where it's a cluster of volume. So it's a little bit hard to get through, but if you guys can break through Monday's low, then your target is not really that far. I would say 176 or 174. It's a decent 4%. But yeah, we'll see which way it breaks. All right, Meta. All right, lead bull for the last 4 days. Bounce, 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 bounce. So it's pretty much forming that equilibrium that I talked about last week. Big move down, big move up, big move down, big move up. So you can see every move, right? This move, this marked the low, this marked the top, this low is higher than the prior low, this high is currently lower than the prior high. So that's what equilibriums are. It just tightens up, but it gets smaller and smaller on each move. That's currently where we're at. If we can break above, obviously, this high, then that's a good sign for the bulls. It may potentially test all-time highs. But if we start pulling back, then we might just continue to tighten up, which also coincides with that tightening range that I talked about on QQQ as well. So let's see if Meta just keeps on tightening up into later September. But for now, Meta is a lead bull for sure. All right, let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon, still not over Friday's high either. So yeah, this is also looking like a little bit of daily bear flag. Just over it, but not that convincing. You can see that upper wick. So similar idea to Tesla. We want a bigger bounce from Amazon. And ideally we come here, right? It's like there's no resistance from here to here. It's just this little structure, right? So we can't even get over this volume gap here and come up to test this 174, which is this low of this structure. And bulls really haven't done anything. There's no real change here, right? Bears big drop and they just bounce. That's it. There's no structural change at this moment. So I want to see Amazon come up at least to test the bottom of this structure, right? There's a gap here. There's not a lot of resistance in that gap. So the bulls can't do that, even fill this area and come back up. Then they're probably going to come from the lower. So that's what I'll be looking at. And if we start dropping here, that may be a potential bear flag if we just go red right away on Monday. But yeah, this gap is pretty much just this little structure here. So if bulls can't even get over this little resistance, definitely not going to take out this one. See how much volume and resistance there is up there. So we'll see. Ideally, we come up, right, hit that wall, pull back a little bit, and try to confirm daily uptrends, form some kind of level of support or along here, along the sideways, and potentially retest that. That'll be the most ideal for Amazon. For now, it's looking okay. All right, Google. It's pretty weak as well. Daily EMA12 resistance pretty clear. Tail looking line versus EMA12. Exponential moving average 12. Resistance, resistance. And let's see if when we do come back up in here, are we going to reject from there again? Clear daily downtrend. You can see pivot set right there. Another pivot set right there. Another pivot. Not having formed this pivot yet, but we need to get over that EMA12. Bounce back above, break above this structure, which is currently this structure, right? You can see this low was where we currently rejected from there on the Monday's bounce. And let's see if Google can break above that at least. Then we may start talking about daily trend changes. But for now, the bounce is still kind of weak for me. Let's see, it should be over, yeah, close to 50%, but Will's got some work to do here. All right, let's take a look at for bears. Break Monday's low, same thing. Then you're coming back on down to test this structure, right? This big structure here. You can cut through Monday's low, then you're looking down to potentially 146. All right, Microsoft here. Definitely elite bear here. Although we did get to oversold on the daily time frame, which is pretty rare for Amazon, as you can scroll back, we rarely get that. So we did get a big bounce, but it's still a lot weaker than every other chart. The last pivot was here, measure down to here. It's getting to that 50% as well, but Microsoft needs to come back. is pretty much back testing this structure right here. Right, you can see the lows of the mark right there. A lot of bounces off of here as well, and we're currently not getting over that. You can see that the upper wick we formed on Friday as well. So I would say we need a big enough bounce. Need to break above at least bare minimum Wednesday's high. Otherwise, this is just a capitulation bottom, and then shorts covering, and bulls aren't even buying. Right, this is like shorts covering and the bounce, and that's it. Right, fuels are gone. If this was all there is. So we need to see at least break Wednesday's high, form some kind of a trend change for us, or sideways support for the bulls to play some offense at least. And currently, a lot of you can see a lot of volume in this area as well. So ideally, they should try to get back above this 415. Will be the next resistance. If we can break above Wednesday's high, I'll be looking at 415 for the resistance. And for your bears, super clear, you can see this bottom was pretty much marked by this bottom. So if you guys can break that, then you'll probably be flushing down to closer to this structure, where it'll be potentially 377. We're still quite a bit away, but it's a lot of work for you guys to do as well to even break this low. But we'll see. We'll see if bears show up Monday right away, or we continue to grind higher on that rising wedge on QQQ. All right, Apple. So Apple is a lead bull. So Apple is helping the market. As you can see, its chart is much healthier compared to Microsoft. And yeah, we pretty much retraced well over 50% on the drop already. We're like, yeah, we're over 0.65 as well. So this may shape up a potential equilibrium, right? Up, we go down, and if we get a shallow pullback and Apple starts confirming daily uptrends, then we would probably come up to test this black line again, which is the long-term resistance. Goes all the way back to here. Rejection. So we'll see if Apple continues. Then I'm looking back up to potentially 224 here. This resistance. If we drop from here, it's not much support along here, but this structure would be what we're looking at. So we start pulling back. I want to see these 208 level active support, give us a daily uptrend, and should head higher. And for Apple to really test Monday's low, the whole market needs to really roll over and head even lower than Monday's low for that to happen, because Apple is currently relative strength means much stronger than the market. So if it needs to test its Monday's low, the market needs to pull back even further than Monday's low for Apple to even be able to reach here. So if Apple does reach Monday's low, then the market definitely crapped its bed pretty hard. So we'll take a look at Nvidia. So Nvidia is pretty key here. Market's been held back by Nvidia and the semiconductor sector a couple of days this week, and Friday it wasn't really outperforming either, so it was kind of held back as well. You can see the Qs try to break out, but the semis were just weak, and Nvidia was weak, and it wasn't really helping it. So, but the other mega tech cap like Apple was definitely helping QQQ. So there's a cluster here. And okay, so we got that pivot, right? This is the higher low being set on Thursday. So now that's the level where bulls probably put their stop losses at, right? We don't want to break Thursday's low, which is this high and this high. Now act as support. So now the question is, can bulls break above Wednesday's high? So if they do break above Wednesday's high and get back above this EMA 12, then that's a daily uptrend confirm. Then I'm looking back up to potentially 116 again, which was a cluster of wall of resistance, which we tested a million times and failed. But obviously, we're not going to straight shot up to 116. We get a daily uptrend, break above Wednesday's high. We'll first test 1110, and if we can get over that, we'll go to 116. For bears, break below Thursday's low, which is this 97.57 low, right? Very clear. Resistance, now acting as support. Very clear. So if we break that, then we may potentially go a little bit lower to that Monday's low for Nvidia. And also has earnings coming up as well. So everybody will be watching Nvidia for sure. because it's the last one to report its earnings. That'll probably dictate where we're going to be heading into for the market for the next 3 months until the next earning. Because if Nvidia does really well on its earnings, then semis